Welcome to file manipulation. In this video, we're going to go through some really cool file manipulation commands. This section should directly apply to a lot of data mining operations that could go on against a Linux machine. So looking for specific keywords, modifying files, that sort of thing. Definitely really applicable to our current situation in our scenario. But let's go ahead and jump right in and start going through the table over here. The first one up here compares two files and actually created for us just a little directory where we can get started. Just a few different text files and other things that we can manipulate in this section. So let's do a diff, file1, file2. This one's really cool. It'll actually compare the two text files and then potentially output any differences. So as we can see here, lines 2 and 3, second line and third line are different in the one file than the other file. And next up we have rm-tech-rf. This will forcibly remove any files, folders, and all subdirectories. So please be extremely careful running this command. If you accidentally hit enter and you're like typing out some path, it will remove everything below that point. So let's go echo delete me into delete me.txt. We'll do an ls. There it is right there. We're going to do our rm-rf delete me. ls again, all gone. Again, directories, folders, and all subdirectories. The next one up is pretty cool, shred. This is gonna secure delete the file. So let me echo that file right back out again. Let's run our shred fu delete me. Perfect. That should have secure deleted it. Let's make sure it's not in here anymore. Yeah, it's no longer here. Again, it should write all zeros out over the file, then delete it. So if anyone tries to go in there and forensically recover that file, they should have an extremely difficult time doing so. This next one's pretty cool. You can actually use the touch command to modify those file creation and modify dates to match another file. So let's go ahead. We'll echo new out to new file.txt to another one. Sure enough, we have new file.txt right here. As you can see, let's hear 4 o'clock, right? I'm gonna try to set this back and match it to this file2 time, this 350. So we're gonna do touch tech r file2 text, and then we give it new file, fire that off. We'll do another ls. Look at that, pretty awesome, right? So if you're ever uploading a file to a Linux machine, you can actually use the touch utility to stop that file back to another time. You can also manually specify the time, which is pretty cool. Let's try that. Touch tac T. We're gonna go to the future, 2830, 07, 02. And then it looks like we need hours, 14, 20 for minutes. And then we'll do new file at the end. I forgot to specify that. Awesome, let's do our ls, see if it changed. We have a file created in 2030, pretty cool. We have a pretty cool grep command here that will grep through and tell you how many matches of some string in a specific file. So we'll do grep tac C. I think I used test in a couple of these files. We'll do file2. And then test has one match. Let's go ahead, cat out file2 here. Yep, has a bunch of different hits, but only one test. That's why it came back with one. If you've ever used Windows and Linux and developed like scripts and copied them between, you know those line endings are different and that can be a total headache. Your script won't work. It's very frustrating. However, if you use this command right here, DOS to Unix, we also have an awk command, but DOS to Unix is just easier to remember. Do DOS to Unix, type in your file name, done. It's gonna go ahead and convert all those line endings to a Unix compatible line ending. I would say in my life as a Linux user, I probably use this command more than anything you can possibly imagine. I don't know why, but this is always what I seem to use. So grep RIA, this is a really cool command. It's not even that complex. I just always seem to need it. What this is gonna do is it's gonna actually search my current directory and all subdirectories for a specific string. It's gonna open system files. It's gonna see anywhere it can match on this string. So if you run this on a target computer, it is gonna open every single file. So please keep that in mind. But you can feed it password and it's gonna hit on any response to password, which if you're in some type of administrative directory with a zillion different administrative scripts, you could run this to query and run over all those administrative scripts looking for any matches. So I'm gonna run this right here and you can see in its response, it found the string test in 3 separate files. From here, you can go open those files, do a little bit more recon and see if it has anything interesting. WC or word count is another useful binary that can be used to list out how many lines exist in a file. So if I run this on file 2, it'll tell me there are 3 lines in that file. It can be helpful if you just want a quick glance, see how many matches or how many lines are in a file. Maybe you want to run this before you download the file because you don't want it to be huge, right? Or maybe you just did some type of filtering algorithm out to a file and you want to see how many matches there were. Definitely a lot of different situations, but it should come in handy. This command right here is going to recurse through and look for any set UID bits on files. Set UID is a way Linux allows a specific file or executable to run with the privileges of the owner. That means me as a regular user can execute a file that potentially is executing as administrator. So definitely some potential privilege escalation paths with this one. Run it, see if you have anything interesting, and then keep digging because you may be able to escalate. This file binary is really cool too. It'll actually try to tell you what type of file it is that you're pointing it at. So if I run it at file, new file right here, you can see ASCII text. If I do a which on IP, this is a binary or something like that, right? So let's do file. And it says it's a symbolic link, which is pretty cool. Let's run file on this one. Let's just keep going down the chain. And it tells you it's an ELF file for Linux that's similar to an executable on Windows. That's the specific program that is IP. So file can be really, really useful. If you don't know what you're looking at on a Linux machine, just run it, see what it comes back with. The chatter commands are pretty cool over here. It actually marks the file as immutable, so it cannot be deleted. Let's try it. Let's do ls chatter plus I. Let's do thing.dat. Oh, I forgot. You do need sudo privileges in some circumstances. So let's do that. We got it done. Now let's try to rm thing.dat. Cannot remove. Operation not permitted, right? Well, if I want to rm and I sudo it, still can't do it because it's set to immutable. Pretty easy to remove though. You just up arrow, switch it to -I. Then you can rm thing.dat. Not day, dat. Perfect. We got that lined up. And it's deleted. So a really, really cool way to just set something immutable. I've seen specific software that's interacting with important objects. I've seen it set those to immutable. So when you need to go kind of clean up after that program or something, you will need to run the chatter -I, then you can remove the file. This one here is really cool too. So this is actually going to create a random file of a specific size on your host. I've used this one a lot. Let's say you're executing a red team assessment and you want to test the network defenders. You can actually run this command, and I'm going to output it to our folder here. So let's do home, rogue operator, desktop, file manip, and then we'll call it testfile.dat. We'll run it. This gives us a default 300 megabyte size file. You can do an ls, alh, and we should see 300 megabytes. So you can use this, create a ton of 1 gigabyte files, download them all from a customer host, again, to test those network defenders, see if they can see all the traffic leaving their network. Well, I hope you enjoyed just kind of the shorthand tips and tricks with Linux. I've used a lot of these almost every day while I'm working in a Linux system. I hope they come in handy for you. We'll see you in the next video.